Pizza play. Pizza go.
Okay. This is SonicBoomSensei versus Tompaa. There's already been one race done in this group, but this is the second. And this one will actually be pretty interesting since both runners actually have the same exact PB. Both have a 27:58. So here you'll see them grab the propeller mushroom, which ideally they'll try to keep till World 8. And SonicBoomSensei already having some trouble. Okay, he can grab that one though. That'll only cost him like 20 seconds, so still anyone's race because like losing the propeller later on can cost minutes.
Pizza go.
Here Tompaa's entering 1-2. Here he's gonna do a few tight jumps to avoid some Goombas to start. And he makes it through the first half of the level. And then here he's gonna ground pound and grab the star, which will allow him to run through a bunch of piranha plants. And then in the new Super Mario Bros. Game, star also, like, it increases your movement speed by quite a bit, so SonicBoomSensei having some trouble with the propeller.
Oh yeah, Mario time.
Going on to 1-3, it's pretty straightforward, but there are some RNG Hammer Brothers that can be avoided with proper movement. You'll see Tompaa do a triple jump off the box at the very start, and that avoids every RNG case with the first. So here the Hammer Bro didn't jump up, but if he did, Tompaa would have landed on his head, which otherwise you can't really avoid. And then here we're going to take the secret exit. And this will bring us directly to World 5, and a triple jump and a spin brings you there. SonicBoomSensei is also getting through the level without much trouble, and we'll see how behind he is after he reaches the flag. So now Tompaa is going into the cannon, and it looks like he has about a 25-second lead. So if you mash during the cannon loading screens or the loading screens on fights, then it'll always speed you up, but otherwise it doesn't do anything else on other loading screens. Don't know why, it's just a strange quirk about this game. And Tompaa finishes World 1 with a 402. That's certainly not bad, especially for a race.
Pizza go.
So there's around a 26-second gap between the two runners, but that could easily change in World 5 with one mistake. Propeller suit is very important to a few levels later on. Here Tompaa manipulates a star so he can run through this section because there's not really much you can do to go fast otherwise. Hopefully SonicBoomSensei will do the same. And then here Tompaa's gonna jump out, and oh, yeah, this should bring them about even. Because there's no way for Tompaa to get up there without either taking damage or getting another power-up. Yeah, that's rough. Well, what he was trying to do was avoid all those piranhas and do a precise spin to get past the water section. But now he's having to do the section the intended way. So not only should this put them pretty much about even, but Tompaa will also have the disadvantage of not having propeller, which is very important. Because in 5F and 5-4 combined, the propeller can save estimated around 2 minutes if everything's done right.
Mario time.
So going into this piranha fight, it's faster to encounter him in the middle because of the way the world map works. It's kind of strange, and basically Mario will, when he's on the middle spot, he'll take a pause before moving again, but if he encounters the piranha, that like basically negates that. Tompaa with the good RNG and SBS with bad RNG, but it's only difference of like half a second. And here Tompaa's gonna go to 5-3 because there's actually a backup propeller he can get. It's in a roulette block though, so we'll see how that goes. And here I think SBS usually opts for 5-2, which is an easier and safer option. And he's set. 5-3 in general also saves around 5 seconds over 5-2, but it's much harder to execute well, and one mistake with these brambles can really screw you over. Your hitboxes are not what they appear. And that goes the same for these wigglers. You can see SBS basically bouncing inside them. Tompaa with a very nice 5-3. SBS finishing up 5-2. So this has again become a very close race.
Oh yeah, Mario time.
Around 5 or 6 seconds between the two runners.
Yeah.
So now we're going into 5F, which is the first level that the propeller really pays off.
Go time.
It's vertical and cycle based, so if you don't have propeller, you're definitely missing out on at least one cycle, if not multiple. So technically the optimal time for this stage on the door is 556, but you won't ever see anyone go for that in this tournament. That cycle is incredibly difficult, and only 1 or 2 people have done it in runs. I'm yet to even pull it off in practice. So you'll see these guys going for 1 cycle slower, hopefully, and get 546 on the door. SBS having some trouble, but Tompaa making it through. And 546. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for SBS to recover from this, because as you'll see in the next level, he'll be losing even more time if Tompaa is able to execute. SBS having some trouble making it up the block. remember, this is a best of 3, so one loss for SBS isn't the end of it. Opting to skip the checkpoint. So here you're going to see Tompaa probably save, and that's because if you fail 5-4 skip, which is the trick you'll see in the next level, it saves around 1 minute and 20 seconds, so if he fails it once or twice and then resets, he can still save time overdoing the level the intended way. Runs for this game are generally under 30 minutes. World records a 24:58, but these runners' PBs are 3 minutes worse than that, both tied at 27:58. SBS choosing to go back to level 1. Wants to get a propeller suit for the trick Tompaa's about to try. And that's rough. Okay, SBS has a chance to catch up here. But you'll see Tompaa resetting his game, because it's always faster to do this than do 5-4 skip again, because it's just that much time save. So vines are making it difficult for SBS to get through World 5. That's another interesting mechanic about this world, is every time you die, these vine patterns change. So he's gonna have to take a forced death, which is very unfortunate seeing he just got the propeller. Tompaa fails 5-4 skip again. Yeah, this isn't the best race for either runner. Not quite sure what SBS is doing, but we'll see how it works out for him. SBS stopping for a moment to contemplate. Okay, hopefully Tompaa can get this. It's a slight mess up, but wow, that was close with that Goomba. And Tompaa gets 5-4 skip. And SBS reloads his save. That's an interesting choice. That's gonna lose him about 5 or 6 minutes, because he has to redo 3 levels. So despite how much can go wrong in this game, I think it's pretty much safe to say this is Tompaa's race.
It's a go time.
So here in Ghost House, there's a few tight jumps. Tompaa getting an 84 on the door. That room is particularly hard to optimize. It's easy to bonk walls and lose time. So here he's gonna do a jump onto this block and then jump to the door. That's a lot harder than it looks. And then after that, he's gonna try to jump through a boo ring. And he messes it up, but doesn't cost much time. He has plenty of time to lose at this point. and Tompaa's moving up to World 8 with propeller. ACCJ, SBS got screwed over by Vine cycles, and then he decided to reload a save at the beginning of World 5 for some reason, instead of taking Forced Death, which will also change the Vines, but maybe he didn't know that was a thing. And now Tompaa's heading into 8-1. This level can be tough because there's some meteors that are falling from the sky and they're all RNG, and Tompaa gets wrecked by one. It's not a big deal because he would be losing propeller anyways at the end of the level. It's not like he's losing a ton of time from that. He's choosing not to damage boost, probably a good idea in a race like this. So here, since he would have the propeller to damage boost, instead he's going to opt to get this fire flower. And then hopefully set up a triple jump at the end. And he gets the triple jump. That triple jump, how it looks like it's not a damage boost, even though it may look like it is one. You're actually jumping over that geyser's hitbox. Meanwhile, SBS can hopefully have a cleaner 5F than last time. Barely misses that dry bones, and he propellers right into one. At least he makes that cycle. And he wall kicks into the spike. That is unfortunate. Tompaa's heading into 8-2. There's a bit of RNG with meteors in his first room, but Tompaa's fine. This is the only level done completely as Small Mario, and you get to see the great movement that this game has for him. Don't get to see air stalls a ton because that replaces the propeller spin. Here, hopefully yeah, he's opting to skip the checkpoint because being Small Mario saves time at the end of the level. There he was trying to spin over that roller, but he missed it, but spin jump saved him. The star should allow him to easily get to the secret. Here he's coming through the tunnel. That was good movement overall. And a solid 8-2. So this secret basically allows you to skip the entirety of World 8, and you have to play a around 3-minute pseudo-scroller, but besides that, you're skipping a bunch of levels. One thing that's interesting about this game is it usually opts, instead of forcing the screen to scroll, it uses game mechanics to make it as if it's an auto-scroller, but it's actually not. So you can see an example of that in 5.4 with the moving boat, where you're able to skip the level with some movement with the propeller. But 7's the same way. You can see SBS back in 1-1. Not quite sure what he's doing at this point. This level's pretty straightforward. Just trying to optimize getting off the coasters. Tompaa jumps to get forward momentum off of that dry bone so he can get off slightly earlier. Here Tompaa's going to be setting up his momentum. Or not, he's just going to take it safe. And then this last transition between dry bones coasters is actually pretty difficult to do right. Tompaa messing up slightly, but not a big deal. Not much you can do to cause him to lose this race at this point. And now Tompaa is going into 8 airship, which is probably the hardest stage in the game. It has a lot of tricks.
Yeah.
Here at the start, you'll see Tompaa grab a propeller from a box.
It's a good time.
And he misses the ground pound on the box, but still gets it. So this cycle on the pipe is actually possible to make with 2 players because you can scroll the screen backwards, but it's not allowed in any percent. There's a different category for that. Here you'll see him skip all these screws, which are the main gimmick of this stage. Skipping motion controls with more motion controls. He's gonna skip the 3rd one. These next 2 skips are pretty straightforward. The last one can be trouble. And he fails it. He didn't duck jump there, and that skip is pretty difficult to make without a duck jump.
It's a good time.
The checkpoint was right where he died, except the big problem with that is he doesn't have propeller anymore, so getting through Bowser's castle will be a bit tougher. Tompaa's looking for the backup power-up. Don't think he knows where it is. And he found it. Last possible box. Here Tompaa's gonna be... I guess he wants to get rid of the fireballs. Having some trouble making this first cycle here. And he gets the last hit quickly.
Mario #1! Woohoo!
And now Tompaa's heading to the final stage. Going in with Ice Flower, which might make things interesting, but
Go time!
he has 3 hits to deal with still. So that triple jump Tompaa just went for is really tight with Propeller, but there you can just air stall, but I guess he opted not to. Still is Big Mario though, so he should be getting through this room. Wondering if he's gonna opt to damage boost here or not. Doesn't really need to save the time though. Can still get sub 30 with this run, so guessing he'll try to do so. Now this is the last auto-scroller of the game, and this one actually does auto-scroll. This section's kind of the calm before the storm, because the final Bowser fight can be pretty hard to optimize. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong pretty quickly, as you hopefully won't see. And he's gonna opt to take the fire, probably a smart move. There's a propeller at the very end of the first half of the big Bowser fight, but Tompaa will want to do whatever he can to be Big Mario at that point. Okay, we'll see what Tompaa does on this fight. It is possible to jump over Bowser here, but if you don't know the strat, there's no reason to go for it. And after this fight ends, we'll see what his best possible time is. It's usually around a minute after Bowser pops up. So yes, Tompaa can get sub 30 on this run if he plays well. He's gonna try to manipulate these fireballs to go straight, but it's kind of difficult, especially under pressure. Yeah, he's having some trouble here. But he's still Big Mario, which means he can grab this propeller at the end of this section, and this will allow him to fly through these platforming sections. GG, barely getting the sub. Tompaa getting the first win, but as I said earlier, these two runners have the exact same PB, so go either way. So we're hopefully moving on to the second race pretty quickly here.
Yay! Oh. 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 Here we go.
Okay, we should have this race starting up pretty soon. Just give us 1 second. Okay, both players are ready. Gonna be starting in a second. And both players are starting. Okay, hopefully SBS can have a cleaner start to the run than he did last time.
Let's go.
So one thing I didn't mention earlier, oh, well, Tompaa taking the early death.
Oh.
This time SBS gets the instant lead. So with this game, players are going to try to slide down slopes, but the very steepest slopes are actually slower to slide down. So you'll see them sliding down lots of shallow slopes. SBS with the early 20-second lead. And now going into 1-2. Hopefully everything can go well.
Oh yeah, Mario time. Yeah.
SBS making it through the Goomba section.
Let's go.
Bit safe. Oh, he gets hit on the piranha. Well, now Tompaa's at a big advantage having the propeller suit. We'll see if SBS opts to get the backup in 5-3 or go back to 1-1. Not sure he knows how to play 5-3 or not, so he'll probably opt to go back. And SMBW runs take around 30 minutes. World record's at 24:58, but that is definitely not doable in a race environment.
Oh yeah, Mario time.
Nope, SBS going on, not going back to 1-1.
Yeah.
Gets hit on the Goomba. Shouldn't be a big deal.
Let's go.
To get to the secret, he'll probably grab a Yoshi. And apparently he doesn't know where Yoshi is. Hope he found one. And SBS should still be in the lead, but that should change very quickly when we get into World 5. Oh. Tompaa lives in the propeller as well. Okay, now they're about even, I'd say. But I know Tompaa can get the backup consistently. Not so sure about SBS.
This way.
SBS finishing up the Toad cutscene right as Tompaa starts it. And now he's going back to 1-1. Okay, so Tompaa should be in the lead going in, but that can still change quite a bit.
Let's go.
He's going back 1-1 to get propeller suit because it saves quite a bit of time in World 5. There's a backup he can get in 5-3, but I'm not sure if he knows how to get that one. And you'll see both players at the start of World 5. SBS with propeller, Tompaa without one. You can start select out of levels, but you don't keep propellers or any power-up. You actually have to complete the level. Tompaa's gonna be ahead by about one stage, but we'll see if he can get the backup in 5-3. If he misses it, that can give SBS quite a chance to catch up. Having some trouble on the vine, but it's going fine.
Oh yeah, Mario time.
SBS taking it safe here. Definitely a smart option given what happened to him last race. So after 5-3 or 5-2, depending on which levels they pick, Tompaa should be in the lead by about 10 seconds since the backup loses some time, but we'll see.
Let's go.
Not quite sure why he chose to freeze that guy, but didn't lose a ton of time. If you freeze it directly upwards, then you actually have to wait for it to break or find a Koopa shell. And Tompaa gets hit. Okay, this should give SBS a pretty solid lead. Tompaa's opting to die to get a propeller again.
Let's go.
And he gets it again. Wow, that is very unfortunate. Tompaa gets hit again. You can see how dedicated he is to getting a propeller leaving this level. Shows how much time it saves.
Oh no.
Then he dies on the first bramble.
Let's go.
So another thing to put into note is that each time Tompaa dies, he's changing the vine cycles, so these deaths could come back to haunt him even more. SBS taking it safe here. Definitely a wise option, given how many times he got hit.
Let's go.
Hopefully Tompaa can get the backup this time. Based on his chat message, I'd say not. And he runs into the Koopa this time.
Ah. Let's go.
Okay, he is at 1 life. I'm hoping not to see a game over, but we'll see how these next attempt or two go. SBS is going to take a shot at 5-4 skip here.
Oh.
We'll see if he chooses to safety save or not. And he does choose to save. That's a smart choice. You can choose to reload the save if he fails 5-4 and come back with it with propeller. He's trying to avoid the overworld enemies. He'll probably hit the power block to kill some enemies off screen. And then here he's going to try to jump up onto the conveyors the enemies are running on while kicking up there. And a clean 5-4 skip. Tompaa with 1 life, finally completing 5-3.
Mario time. Ho.
BS moving on to Ghost House.
Go time.
Tompaa barely making it, avoiding those spikes. Yeah, he's on the wrong side of the cycle. That is unfortunate. All that work for the propeller suit. And that's a game over for him. He's gonna have to restart from the beginning of World 5.
Here we go again.
Oh, beginning of 1-1. Well, I'd say that's the race. He didn't save. SBS is still on good pace. I'm hoping he'll try to finish out the run. Now we get to see SBS's take on World 8. SBS saving, so in case a game over happens, he doesn't have to restart the run from 5F. SBS trying to navigate 8-1. These meteors seem to be making it hard for him, so he's just gonna wait it out. Gonna triple jump over this. Oh, wasn't confident in the triple jump. Now he's gonna grab this fire flower since he lost propeller. He would have lost propeller around the end of this level anyways, so should be able to damage boost just fine. Opting to not go for the triple jump, probably a wise move at this point. Probably just wants to get this race over with.
Mario time. Yeah.
SBS moving on to 8-2. Let's see if the first room is nice to him.
Go.
And it is. If you hit the very, very top of the flag and get a 1-up, that's slower, but if you get like the top score before the very top versus the bottom score, then they're the same.
Let's go.
SBS taking an early death. Being a bit more careful this time to avoid the spike balls. And even though it's slower, he's opting to take the checkpoint. Big Mario wastes time at the end, but he's having some trouble grabbing the star too. Okay, this is the section you really want to be Small Mario for, because as Big Mario, it's very hard to get through this section quickly, because you'll always be bonking the ceiling and you have to run on the ground instead. Whereas you can jump between the platforms easily as Small Mario. Getting the 1-up on the top, because why not at this point?
Let's go.
SBS moving on to 8-7, the infamous Bone Coaster. If anyone's ever played the multiplayer Coin Rush mode, this is probably the level you remember. SBS opting to skip the star coin. Run immediately invalidated. SBS tries to get the fire flower but fails. Not a big deal, he only needs Big Mario going into airship. And then we'll see how he does in this last transition. He messes up the wall kicks, but works out for him. SBS, wow, that is quite a death. SBS trying to take it safe at the end, but ends up plummeting into the lava. Well, you get to see this minute and a half of this auto-scroller all over again. This time he's opting to get the red coin ring. Now he's fire flower going to this section. We'll see how that end turns out for him this time. And he makes it to the flag.
Mario time!
Okay, let's see his take on 8A. We'll see if he goes for all the skips or not. Here you'll see him grabbing a propeller at the start. It's very useful in this level to skip a ton of gimmicks. Taking it safe in this section. I can't blame him. If you don't get through this section quickly, then it can be... Wow, that was a close encounter there. If you don't go that section the very fastest way, then it can be pretty hard to deal with, because cannonballs quickly pollute the screen. Taking the first skip nice and safe, and going for the second. Rip. If you bonk that metal place at all, it's pretty much impossible to get it. That death is literally right before the checkpoint too. It's pretty costly. And I think that's any chances of sub 30 gone. There are a ton of propellers in this room though, so hopefully he knows where they all are. It's in the rightmost crate. There, he found it. kind of need to fall down here to get it, though. There's a third one here, too. Don't know if he knows about it or not. Yeah, he's just guessing. SB's taking some time to try to re-enter the pipe. Opting not to go for that skip this time. Going out of the way to kill the Mecha Koopa. I mean, why not at this point, I guess. There's a skip you can do here, but it can be pretty tricky sometimes. Is he gonna go for the star coin? Wow, that cost him. Throws it too early. Getting the ice flower though. Always better to be safe. So for anyone who got here after Tompaa forfeit, basically he got a game over, which put him back to the first level. So that cost him around 15 minutes, so not really something you'd want to continue after. Yes, having some trouble hitting Bowser Jr. Both runners have the same PB. Both have a 27.58. And SBS finishing up Airship. SPS opting to save yet again. Tompaa's game over. Not really something I can talk down about. Opting to grab the ice flower because why not? Wow, that was almost a death there. Taking this room nice and slow. Tompaa's taking some time to run back and forth. Now for the 50 seconds auto scroller. Getting hit by the dry bones. Hopefully that doesn't haunt him. Let's get some sub hype in the chat. Kappa. Yeah, Tompaa forfeit a while ago. SBS is just finishing out the race. Looks like SBS isn't going for Bowser jump. Just waiting for Bowser to jump instead. Okay, if SBS plays well, he can get a low 34 on this race. Given what happened to him, it's not a bad time. SBS having some trouble on the fireball section, sorry. And this should get him through. Has Big Mario so he can get prop. He's not going to risk ground pounding it. Coming a bit close with that lava wave. And it's just playing it safe here. Let's see if he can get sub 35. And he gets it. $34.57. Apparently that's also a race PB for SBS, according to SRL. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break for a second, and then we'll be back with the third race.
Let's play.
Okay. So we'll see how this last race goes. Remember, both runners have one run race, so this decides it, and both have the exact same PB. So this could go either way. Hopefully we can see a close race to the end on this one. And we should be starting off shortly. Just gotta wait for stream delay. Okay, so in both races, one player has lost propeller in 1-1. See if we can have both actually complete the level. Okay, both runners are within a second or two of each other.
Mario time.
This is already closer than the other races.
Let's go.
SBS and Tompaa both making it through the Goombas. SBS taking it slow where he lost prop last time. So now Tompaa has a slight lead, but it really means nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Mario time. Let's go.
Here you're gonna see both players triple jump off the block to avoid this hammer bro. SBS missing the triple jump but doesn't get hit. Ouch, Tompaa gets hit on the piranha plant. SBS spinning over them. Tompaa having some trouble controlling Yoshi. SBS with a pretty clean World 1 overall.
This way.
Took it safe in a few places, but better safe than lose propeller. Estimated time for these races are generally 32 minutes or under. World record is 24 minutes and 58 seconds, but you probably won't see anything under 26 minutes this tournament. SBS with the slight lead and the propeller going in. It's looking good for him so far. His lead should increase until they get to 5-3. SBS getting the star. SBS taking 5-1, very safe as well. Not sure if Tompaa knows this, but you can actually jump out of the water as Mini Mario or Small Mario. You just can't as Big Mario.